Good morning, Rotarians and guests. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. I'm Ron Strobel, the Sergeant at Arms. Our invocation this morning is by Bill Woolridge.
Ron, if I may, I'm going to do it right here. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask your blessing today on our Rotary Club and all the Rotarians around this world. Bless our efforts as we seek to spread light and love in our community of Hudson and around the world. And help us to live out the core beliefs of Rotary that we think, say, and do. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Bill. And to lead us in the pledge and four-way test, Dan Filburn.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's say the four-way test, all the things we say and do. 1, is it the truth? 2, is it fair all concerned? 3, will it bring goodwill and better friendships? And 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
You can be seated. We have several guests with us today. Hopefully I say your name right. Otherwise, you'll have to change your name, I guess. Rachel Riffin, Karen Downing, Natalie Brindley, Scott Rafferi, Dave Basil. What do you? Nice. This says guest list. Well, it's nice to have you, David. Tommy Ricard, John Shetzley, Mike Bird, and Mike Donovan. Nice to have all of you with us. If I missed somebody, I'm sorry. I have one announcement. Mimi. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you. I have one announcement. There, we have the polio night at the Guardians, and we were sent home from the parking lot the last time. We luckily didn't get out of the car and in the rain. It's been rescheduled for next Tuesday. I have 1 or 2 tickets, which if someone wants them, I'll give them to you. Joe Avella is going. And so if anybody is interested, come see me or raise your hand. Okay, well, if it turns out to be 6 of us, that'll be a little difficult. So anyway, see me after if you're interested. Because I know, well, I'm pretty sure that my wife doesn't want to go. I will go. So there may be 1 ticket. And if somebody wanted to, you could have the 2. Our president, Terry Bortnick.
Good morning, Rotarians, and good morning to all of our guests. We're so pleased to have you here with us today. I think you'll find it an enlightening meeting, and we enjoy your participation. Few business things to take care of. We are collecting this month snacks and supplies for the Boys and Girls Club of Akron. So if you have anything, just bring it in. as we do typically, leave it in the back or leave it on the table and I'll pick that up. Or if you want to make a financial contribution, just bring that to me and I will take care of picking up some things to take down to them. Pours and pints, again, for the polio related somewhat to the baseball game. They've had 2 already this month or last month and this month, and they've made about $900 already to contribute toward the polio association. So our local one is going to be on November 9th at the Green Valley Brewing Company. Will give you an opportunity also to see the new brewing company because it's brand new. I'm not even sure when they opened, just recently. Oh, okay. Now, thus the reason it was changed from September 21st to November 9th. Takes me a minute sometimes, but okay. All right. Well, anyway, it'll be a great way to support some of our local businesses also. And then anything, what they give $1 per pint to the polio association. September 30th. I don't know if anybody was interested, but I just wanted to remind you the Susan G. Komen group is having a run. They're More Than Pink Walk at Joanne Fabrics on the 30th. If anybody would like to get a team together to just kind of be a Rotarian group or would like to volunteer their services, they'd be happy for, whatever you choose to do. So if anybody is interested in that, see me, I'll give you the details on that. There is a foundation board of directors meeting after the meeting today. So those of you who are involved in the foundation, please be sure and be there. And last but not least, our own Noah, who is our AV star back in the back, he saves us every week, is a national merit semifinalist. So congrats to Noah. Good job. Congrats, Noah. That's a big deal. Congratulations to you and good luck as it proceeds forward. Okay. Okay. With that. Oh, that's right. We have service learning. Sorry, it's my first time as president to have you here as a group. Yeah. Hey, we're glad to have you.
All right. Good morning, Rotarians. Lovely to see you. No, morning. So, thanks for having us. We're off to a wonderful start to our school year. Our students have already completed 3 weeks of site, give you an idea how far we already are in the school year. And this class has really gotten off and running. Our supervisors have already reported with the amount of initiative they're showing in terms of how they're stepping up, just various things that they're able to do at site. So it's really been exciting to see this class of 2024. I think there's be really great things ahead. To that point, let me introduce our first student for today, and that is Tommy Ricard.
So hi, like you said, I'm Tom Ricard. My first semester site is at the Hudson Middle School, and I'm working with students who have special needs. And so far, it's been very rewarding for me, and it's been really good just to be able to help out in any way I can. Each day, I get to be in 3 of their language arts classes, and I just get to help them read and help them with the questions that they're doing. And they get really excited when me and the other student that comes when we're there. So it's really just nice to be there. And then we also get to be with the 6th grade special needs students just in there when they go to PE and when they go to art and lunch, and just that time together with them is just very rewarding because it's just time where we're allowed to build relationships with them, and it's more about just being there with them, which has been really fun so far. And then for next year, I'm planning on going to Virginia Tech, and I'm gonna play football there, and I'm gonna study industrial engineering.
Good morning, Rotarians. It's been too long. It's great to see everybody here this morning.
Can I just ask one quick question? Tommy, am I correct that you are also a National Merit semifinalist?
Yes.
Congratulations on that. I believe you and Noah represent 1/4 of all the National Merit semifinalists our Hudson High School has produced this year. Good on you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've got some smart kids in the room. I was never even close to that, nor am I right now. So that's where we are. Yeah, like proximity. Yes. Yeah, I surround myself with smart people. And so I'm here. A couple things for me is one of them is so I agree with Marty. The year has been off to a really strong start. We get emails, we get text messages from supervisors just telling us like right off the bat how impressed they are that the students are kind of putting 1 foot forward. They're jumping right in, and they're doing things that a lot of times they would expect to have to like teach them how to do or ask them to do, and they're just naturally doing it, which is always a great thing to hear from our supervisors, especially this early in the year. We also have our Camp Ledgewood trip that we're planning, and you certainly are encouraged and welcome to join us. It's going to be, for us, it'll be that Monday, October 23rd. It'll be after school for us. And then the service day, the service component of it will be Tuesday, October 24th. During the morning. Typically, for those who kind of pay attention, it's on a Tuesday night to a Wednesday. Our testing day at the high school changed, so we shifted it so it is a Monday night to a Tuesday. But it's that October 23rd, and then Tuesday, October 24th is the service day. So I know some Rotarians have come in the past, and you're certainly welcome to come. We'd love to see you. We'll also have other opportunities for Rotarians to join us. We've got the Random Acts of Kindness projects on the slate. We also, I know the contemporary issues will have the policy projects, and we'll figure out probably a couple of other ways where we can make that connection. You'll have a chance to join our students, because we always really look forward to that. In terms of one of our shining stars so far is Natalie, and I know she hates that I'm saying that. And Natalie's over at Laurel Lake, and I actually got a chance to see her last week, and she is the tech expert. And when I say that, I'm not saying she's like the most tech savvy person on the planet, but within about 5 minutes, she was not only able to get the person she was working with to figure out what a widget was, how to put Uber on her phone. She also taught Reverend Dodson and myself something about our own iPhones that we for each of us, and it was different within about 5 minutes. She's doing an absolutely incredible job, and she is serving well beyond what she needs to. She's going in on the weekends as well because she's having such a good experience there. So I'll turn this over to Natalie.
Hi, I'm Natalie. You kind of already introduced me, but I work as the Laurel Lake Tech Help person. So I always go in on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I go check in the library to see who's set up an appointment. And then I go to their room and I'll go help them with tech help questions, anything from how do I send an email on my iPad to how do I connect my printer with a USB and scan stuff, all these different things. But it's really, really a great opportunity that I've gotten to do. And I've met all different types of people, and it's helped me learn not to take time for granted, especially with my own grandparents. I know that it's a really special time. And as I'm getting older, I'm kind of losing that time when I go off to college. So I just enjoy the time that I get to go there. And then on Sundays, I go in and help with the activities. So I take them to church and I take them to the videos. There's always a different country every month there. So we get to watch different documentaries. I think this month is Austria. So it's a really great opportunity. And then next year, I'm not sure where I'm going to college yet, but I'm hoping that it's somewhere down in the SEC, because I need the warm weather and get away from the Ohio weather. And then I'm hoping to major in neuroscience and then be on the pre-physician's assistant track.
So thank you so much, Rotarians. We'll be seeing you next month.
Thank you so much, guys. We always, oh. Oh, yeah. Yes, you do. And as a matter of fact, well, it's not grandparents, but it's National Pay Back Your Parents Day. So I'm rushing home after the meeting because I'm sure there are going to be all kinds of wonderful things waiting for me, but don't forget to thank your parents. Okay, so now I'm going to hand this over to Dave Basil and he will introduce our speakers for today.
Thank you, President Terry. Good morning, fellow Rotarians and guests. We are continuing our candidate presentations today. These are individuals in our community who have put their hat in the ring and chosen to run for elected office. Our club is providing this opportunity both for our members and as a service to the community. Today, we will hear from candidates for Ward 4 on Hudson City Council. I will briefly introduce each of the candidates. They will then have 5 minutes for prepared remarks. Following that, there will be an opportunity for questions and the candidates' responses. They will be limited to 2 minutes for each response. Please keep your questions short and to the point. I really appreciate the questions from last week that were short. I'll remind everybody once again, these are questions, not speeches. And out of respect for the candidates, I would ask that individual responses to comments and answers to questions not be applauded or otherwise exhibited. We can join together in thanking them at the end with a round of applause. We will first hear from Scott Rufer, who was appointed to serve the residents of Ward 4 in February of 2023, replacing Beth Bigham. Prior to his appointment, he served on the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee and is currently Council Liaison to the Cemetery Board and a member of the Greenhouse Gas Inventory Subcommittee of Council. Scott is a 1993 graduate of Bowling Green State University with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Computer Animation and served in the U.S. Air National Guard from 1988 to 1998. He is a regional sales director for Mersive Technologies and has extensive experience working in the telecom, unified communications, and audio-visual industries. Mr. Rufer is an avid outdoorsman, a volunteer with Habitat for Humanity and Hudson Kiwanis. He has served as a toddler and pre-K teacher at Christ Community Chapel, and has also supported and coached recreational and travel sports leagues in his 20-year period as a resident of Hudson. Please join me in giving a Rotary welcome to Scott Rufer.
Good morning, everybody. I appreciate this opportunity to speak with and meet each of you. Thank you for the introduction, David. And at this time, I'd just like to take a quick moment to acknowledge my wife and my family. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you could hear what I just said. Just want to take a moment to thank my wife and my family as they've watched me grow in this role over the last 8 months or so as I've been on council. I do want to start and tell everybody here that I am incredibly blessed. I was born to high school students who were married for just a short period of time, but I have been loved greatly by a tight family circle of grandparents, aunts, uncles, and friends. My mom dropped out of high school to take care of me, and remarkably, she graduated from college before I did. We spent a lot of time in my early years living in trailer parks and rented homes, and I was fortunate to spend a tremendous amount of time with my grandparents, much like you did. It was very developmental for me. I learned the value of hard work at an early age as I drove tractor, baled hay, milked cows, tended to a lot of sheep, and dug post holes and mended fences. Along the way, I even learned how to cook, and I sat down to sew when Grandma hosted quilting socials. I followed my grandmother's steps as she served on as a voting location manager and poll worker for over 30 years, and I am excited about this opportunity. Shortly after high school, I joined the Ohio Air National Guard to help pay for college. I continued to serve until I was honorably discharged after 9 years of service. And I was very fortunate to participate in joint training programs around the country, supporting programs with Air Force Civil Engineering, Naval Seabees, and Army Combat Engineers. As my children have grown in Hudson and matriculated through Hudson's terrific schools, I became more involved in our community as a coach and volunteer. Serving as a Ward 4 councilman is a challenge I undertook because what I have asked my children to do every day, and that is step out of your comfort zone and challenge yourself. And while doing that, give back to society and your community. Last year, I decided to lead by example, and I interviewed and was selected to serve on the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee. A few months after that, the Ward 4 position opened, so I decided to increase my commitment. I submitted my qualifications for consideration, interviewed, and was appointed by council to serve as a Ward 4 council member, serving the residents of Ward 4 and Hudson in general. Serving on council has been a daunting yet exhilarating challenge, and it is hard work. Council has many topics to objectively discuss, problems to solve, and residents to support. The recent steering committee survey feedback indicates that 94% of Hudson residents are happy with the direction we're going and the next steps that we have planned. Their main areas of focus are traffic and safety. I'm proud to be part of it now, and I look forward to serving the next 4 years to help complete these terrific programs to expand Hudson infrastructure, including water, sidewalks, community resources like Ellsworth Meadows, and many others. Council votes unanimously nearly 85% of the time. We work together as a team as we plan ahead to better serve the residents of Hudson. My upbringing, my military service, and career highlight my ability to work together with others to achieve a common goal. We have focused on continuing to expand connectivity around the city. Sidewalks make it easier to travel by foot. Council has worked as a team to establish a plan to further increase the amount of sidewalks that connect our neighborhoods and schools. I also am committed to expanding Hudson Water to additional neighborhoods that want to be tied in. Ellsworth is a crown jewel among municipal golf courses. It helps foster a sense of community and continues the appeal of Hudson as being a destination location. Not all of us belong to country clubs, and even those that do still enjoy playing golf at Ellsworth Meadows. My experience working on my grandparents' farm helped prepare me for my time on council. I am now building and mending fences of another variety. I've been very accessible and responsive to residents of Ward 4. Residents reach out to me at all times of the day with issues that are important to them, and I work to turn those things around quickly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Roofer. Next, we will hear from Dr. Mike Bird. Mike is a pediatric emergency physician and recently retired from the position of Vice President of Patient and Staff Safety at Akron Children's Hospital. He joined Akron Children's after college at Miami University, medical school at the University of Cincinnati, and a pediatric residency in Rochester, New York, and a fellowship in pediatric emergency medicine at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus. Mike received his master's of public health from the University of Michigan, is certified as a Lean Six Sigma Green Belt by Johns Hopkins, and has participated as an examiner for the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. Throughout his career in healthcare, he has been an advocate for patient safety and employee wellness, and has had various leadership roles in national and state pediatric safety collaboratives. Mike was born in Detroit, raised in Akron, where he graduated from Firestone High School, and has lived in Hudson since 1999 with his wife, Lori, son, Ethan, who is a graduate student at McGill University, and daughter, Caroline, who is a freshman at McGill University. Mike's local involvement includes service as an EMT with Hudson EMS, service on the Hudson Library Board, and membership in the Leadership Hudson class of 2016. Mike is currently on the board at Laurel Lake, a member of the Hudson Senior Network, and is on the Hudson Schools Safety Committee. During the winter months, Mike volunteers at Boston Mills Brandywine as a ski patroller. Please join me in giving a Rotary welcome to Dr. Mike Bird.
Morning, everybody. Thank you, David. Thank you, Rotarians and guests. Special shout out to my next door neighbor, Rotarian Dan Filburn. Hi, Dan. If you ask him, I think he'll say I'm a helpful, respectful, quiet neighbor, always willing to lend a hand, but I do have to work harder with the weeds in my yard. And Dan, I will do that. So I think Dave summarized my background pretty well. I've received training and education in both Columbus and Ann Arbor, so I'm used to resolving conflicts and seeing both sides of an issue. I'm fully invested in this in Hudson, and the city has been so important to my family and me. So I want Hudson to be the best it can be by representing Ward 4 on City Council. I think to be an effective council member, one should be as nonpartisan as he or she can be. And I'm not sure when it started, but our city council positions have been officially nonpartisan for as long as I can remember. This was a gift from Hudson's foremothers and forefathers who had great wisdom because several communities in Summit County like Talmadge and Cuyahoga Falls have officially partisan councils. So until a few years ago, I don't think most of us knew what party our council members were in, nor did it matter. Then it seems like we had some dark money come into mayoral and council races supporting partisan candidates. We had council members running for partisan state offices and raising divisive issues that further alienated us. So the council became more partisan, and that partisanship divides us. And it forces elected officials to take sides and not compromise, because that not compromising appeals to their party base. The council doesn't search for common ground to unite residents. Many residents become disengaged and they lose their voice. I would also add that partisanship does not align well with Rotary's four-way test. It makes it harder to discover the truth, harder to determine what is fair, does not help us build goodwill or better relationships, and it's not beneficial to us all. So why will I be a good councilman, and how will I strive to bring back nonpartisanship to Hudson City Council? So we all have our biases, who we've supported in the past, our party affiliations. But when we serve in the role as a nonpartisan council person, we should be as nonpartisan as we can be. And why do I think I can do this better than other candidates who are part of council? Why do I think, did several Republicans and several Democrats encourage me to run for council? And how am I going to be different? So number one, I don't have any close ties to any partisan officials. I'm not beholden to any political party. I aspire to no other political office. Hudson City Council is the apex for me. It's not a stepping stone. I will not be looking to make political points nor pander to a particular party while I'm in office. More importantly is my background. After medical training, I got a master's in public health and additional education and training in quality improvement. I spent over 20 years working with groups of people to improve the healthcare of children. People with different priorities, issues, experience, politics. I listened to them. I help teams analyze situations, interpret data, resolve conflict, find common ground, agree on key metrics and objectives, and improve kids' lives. Those are the same skills that will help me be an effective, nonpartisan council member and do what's best for the city of Hudson. So let me just close with a paraphrase of a John McCain quote. You may like him or not, but this quote defines my perspective and exactly how I will be as a Hudson City Council member. Despite our differences, much more unites us than divides us. We are fellow Americans and Hudsonites. And that's an association that means more to me than any other. I understand who I will work for. I won't work for a party. I won't work for special interests. I won't work for myself. I will work for you.
Thank you, Dr. Byrd. Now we will have an opportunity for questions from members and guests. Again, please keep your questions short and to the point. Use the center mic in the center aisle, if you would, please. And we'll take the first question.
There's a question in in the chat. Do you, as a candidate, support the city drafting a greenhouse gas inventory? Please explain your stance on this study.
Thank you for an opportunity to answer that question. We have a very unique and diverse ecosystem here in Hudson. Many people don't know this, but Hudson has about a 42% canopy coverage and a very low housing density rate. We have over 40% of Hudson public power is renewable energy, and the balance of that is locked into a 50-year contract that the Council of 2008 put in place. A carbon study can provide some good information for community to use for self-improvement. Recently, we've had proposals from different organizations to conduct a study, but to date, we haven't seen what would be done with that data. And I'm a very data-centric person. And on top of that, we have yet to see a contract that would outline what our obligations as a community are or could be going forward if we were to have that study completed. What I also think is, because we have our Environmental Awareness Committee here in Hudson, they could be used as an organization to help supplement or educate our residents on best methods to reduce emissions and live a cleaner, less greenhouse gas intensive lifestyle. Thank you.
So I guess the short answer is yes, and let me explain why. So I was at the community greenhouse gas discussion a couple weeks ago, and there was a lot of disparate viewpoints that were shared. But the first half of the meeting was hearing from the school system about how much they have saved with making things more efficient in their HVAC and lighting systems. Another good percent of it was, as Scott mentioned, was hearing from Hudson Power and how all the work that they have done in moving more towards renewables, which are in many cases cheaper. So much of that discussion was around saving money by becoming more efficient. And that was would have been a great opportunity for City Council to embrace and find some common ground, because we all want to save money for our taxpayers. And greenhouse gas in some ways represents energy that is used and money that costs our taxpayers. So let's do a greenhouse gas study. Let's get a baseline, and then we can continue to monitor that and approve. And I think, like I said, there's lots of alignment around lots of common ground that this council, I think, has missed the opportunity to unite people around instead of trying to divide them, because what we're talking a lot about is efficiency that saves taxpayers money.
Good morning. I have a question for you. In Hudson, we have suddenly a lot of vacancies in commercial areas downtown. I wondered if either of you could explain your forward thoughts and plans for either addressing that or fixing it.
Thank you, Sarah. That's a great question. So I guess a couple things I would say. I think we need to, the city needs to appreciate that vacancies cost us money, and we want to do what we can to decrease those vacancies. Of course, there are independent businesses that need to make these decisions on their own, but the city should do what it can to support the businesses. So, do we, maybe some of them need coaches, maybe some of them need assistance with social media or technology. And additionally, I think we should look at, one of the quality improvement tools is doing a root cause analysis. Are we looking at the businesses that fail? Are we understanding what are the key reasons why they fail? And then conversely, are we looking at the businesses that succeed and really trying to understand what's that secret sauce of success for businesses in Hudson, and how can we support that, either by helping them on the front end, helping them decide whether this is going to be a good place for them, and then once they've started their business, again, providing mentorship, support, information, helping them to become what makes a successful business.
I may have a slightly different perspective on this. I've participated in the Economic Growth Board interviews. I've met with and talked with the people that are on that board. And we have had conversations on council during workshops and as recently as last night about this exact topic. One thing that became clear was, even though there are some empty storefronts, that does not mean that they're not under contract and that the owners are not being paid rent. We are working hard with the Chamber of Commerce. We're leveraging our Economic Growth Board to give them data and give them valuable information to share with the retailers and with the Chamber of Commerce. So there are a lot of tools that are at their disposal. They can work with city to capture data and do studies, even simple things like traffic surveys, to help best populate those resources in town and provide the best shopping experience and dining experience for everybody, for all of our residents. Hang on to it.
Hi, could you tell us your views about a senior center in Hudson, and how would you set it up, and what would be the kind of services offered?
Thank you for that question. I appreciate it. I don't know that I honestly have direct views on what a senior center would look like. This place is fantastic. So I guess if there's a lookalike to be a template, maybe this is it. But the other side of that is, one thing that I've learned in my time on council is that we do have a population of diverse ages and diverse interests. For us to, as a council, try to legislate or dictate how properties are being developed and what those facilities can be, I truly believe is out of our range. I do believe, as part of my work with the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee, that we worked very, very hard, and I know that that group is continuing to work very hard to capture feedback from residents. What I think is going to come from this is a combination of activities, services, and facilities that would best benefit the entire residential population of Hudson, not just a small group. So whether or not that turns into a senior living facility or recreational facility, I can endorse a multi-use facility that serves all of us. It's just a matter of, what do the residents want and what is going to be most valuable to the entire population of over 20,000 people.
So, Patricia, I think that when you talk about a senior center, I think the beginning of it needs to be some sort of coordination. Somebody who's got some time and energy to spend for it. Right now, there's the Hudson Senior Network, which I'm part of, which is a group of volunteers that schedules and plans different activities for seniors. But it would be very helpful if there was somebody who actually had some devoted time from the city that could work on this coordination. I think that there's kind of this myth out there that a lot of folks, a lot of seniors live just, after a certain period of time, they move to Laurel Lake, they move to Hudson Meadows, something like that. But there's lots of seniors that are living in their own homes and want to age in place. And so other communities provide things like help with snow blowing, snow plowing in the wintertime. They help with leaf collection. They provide services like, like Natalie does at Laurel Lake. They have folks that can go out in the community and help people with their electronic needs. So I think that there's the comprehensive plan survey that rated senior facility, senior support high, relatively high, is an important information to hear about, for us to inform on that decision. And again, additional resources that can help identify more of the seniors' needs and provide some coordination for that.
Well, good morning. In downtown Hudson, the big grassy area is called Phase 2. Well, that's what most people call it. And it's right next to what was Phase 1, which is now First and Main. My question is, for each of you, is what do you think should be done with Phase 2 and when?
Well, so I think the city has owned Phase 2 for quite some time now. We are paying for it right now. And it continues to cost us money month in and month out. So I think there's some sense of urgency to do something around Phase 2. I think the comprehensive plan will help us inform that, but certainly one of the higher ranking things was from the survey is around the need for different types of housing, perhaps first floor master housing, smaller houses. There's folks that are living in these 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 square foot houses in Hudson, and they want to stay in Hudson, and there's not too many opportunities for that. But I think that and some of the drawings that I've seen or proposals that's coming through the comprehensive plan steering committee include different mixes of housing, different mixes of green space, perhaps some office or retail space. So I think that we can really, I think we can reach a consensus on moving forward with Phase 2, and I think that there really is an opportunity to make something that is consistent with downtown Hudson, consistent with the charm of Hudson, does not ruin anything for the city, but provide some valuable resources for us.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, I'll refer back to my previous comments with regards to residential input. Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee is certainly part of that and a big piece of that data and information capture. But just to be clear, even though we are paying dollars now, that Phase 2 cost is associated with previous administration. This administration is working hard, and this council, I should say, is working now to put new definition to what our land development code looks like going forward. As we work through that process, it will help us better work with the information and the plans that we're getting from the Comprehensive Steering Committee. And it will also help us gather more data and more feedback from the residents so that we can best serve and best provide the resources, the accommodations, whether that's single-story homes, if it's more retail outlets, if it's restaurants, things to that effect. It's really more about hearing from the community and understanding what that plan looks like for Hudson over the next 10 to 20 years. Those decisions will be made over time. I don't feel that, and the data would suggest that we are not in a race to develop the few large plot resources that we have left in Hudson. We need to make good economic and conscious decisions on how those properties are managed to the best value of the residents of Hudson. Thank you.
Actually, to bring all those questions together, the empty storefronts, the Phase 2, et cetera. Speaking as someone who's retired from one of the largest retailers in town, Heinen's, probably the number one thing businesses are looking for are customers. And so more residential would bring more customers. On the other hand, people are very much worried about traffic in town. So there's no way around it. You have more people in town, more businesses, you can have more traffic. So I guess in the end, and as far as the comprehensive plan, my understanding is that the original phase 2 was according to the last comprehensive plan. But my question is this, is when it comes down to it, for both of you, that balance between traffic and crowding and residences and more business, where should we end up on that?
Thank you for the question. And it is it's a really good question. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know that there's any one answer. We do have some issues. We are a bit landlocked downtown. It's not as if we're going to tear down the clock tower to expand the streets. We are making some great development with Peg's Foundation. That whole area on the other side of First and Main is going to be beautiful. It's going to be a tremendous resource that continues to make Hudson a destination location. And to your point, we'll bring more foot traffic to support our retailers and our restaurants in town. There are a number of avenues that we're exploring at council. Part of that is providing ongoing traffic surveys. The other part of that is that we have just legislated, or I believe we've allocated funding for adaptive streetlights. So those streetlights or those stoplights will be actively smart, I guess, if you will, and able to change traffic patterns and able to change how long they stay green or how long they stay red on an ongoing basis. And it will update by the minute. So these are some of the creative solutions that we're trying to bring to the residents of this town and the retailers and restaurateurs of this town to help hopefully give everybody the best experience, not only to live here, but to come in from outside of town and patronize our retailers. Thank you.
So Scott, that was a great answer. Thank you. So I don't have a whole lot more to add. However, I would say that I think that if we, as part of the traffic studies, we can't stop somebody from going from Stowe to Twinsburg up 91. So that traffic is probably something that we have to deal with. And I think with the traffic studies, I think we can look at and find out, if we had another 150 people that lived in phase 2, would that really contribute to our traffic problem going up through 91? And I don't know, but I'm skeptical that it would, because I think that, if we have a walkable kind of community where folks are walking more, they're not going to be really contributing to that traffic issue. And I think like Scott said, the best thing that was ever happened in Hudson was probably that clock tower, because it is not coming down, and we are not going to expand 91 into 4 or 6 lanes, which would really ruin the whole sense of downtown in Hudson. So so the adaptive streetlights will help with that traffic flow. But I'm not really sure that phase 2 would really add to that, but we have to find out.
This is a health and safety issue. As we are probably all aware, there are many more severe storms where, as time goes on, likely to be in the path of more tornadoes and other issues that are ongoing that relate to public health and safety. And what I'm wondering is what the community ought to be prepared to do to inform residents, whether it's by ward or some other mechanism, what they do and where they should go during a heat emergency when the power is out. There are parts of town where that's more likely to happen than the lack of power than others. But we have we will have a number of occasions when public health and safety responses are not well known among the population. Where do you go for heat emergency? If there's a tornado siren that goes off, what should you do? How do people organize their households to respond to those kinds of issues? In the past, we've had emergency response plans from the public safety people. Is that where you would recommend? And then what should happen in terms of public knowledge and training for those kinds of responses?
So, two or 3 weeks ago, the sirens went off and there was a tornado watch or warning in the community. And, my wife and I went to our basement and watched TV and whatever. But I think you have a good point about what can we do more. After that siren went off, there was follow-up I saw on the Hudson website about what happened, why the sirens went off, et cetera. So I think that there's always more opportunities to communicate more, to provide more information to the community. So like you said, I think that the safety services like fire and EMS should probably take a big lead on that. But I think we look at what are the different ways of communicating that in the actual situation in real time, and then just overall awareness of these plans. There's lots of services that we could encourage folks to sign up for. Like I think a lot of us get weather alerts on our phones. So maybe that's an opportunity for us to provide sort of a list of resources for our residents to use.
Thank you for that question. That's a really good question, and I agree with some of his response. I will start out by giving accolades to Hudson Public Power. During the storms that we recently had, many of you probably heard our public address or our emergency sirens. That's your first call to action. So you should have a contingency plan privately for your own home and your welfare. Hudson Public Power, the subscribers to their services had power. I don't know exactly what the time frame was, but I think it was under 30 hours typically. First Energy was being supported by Hudson Public Power to give our residents the best service and get their power and trees taken care of and other issues cleared up. So we have a terrific resource already here. The other thing that I will commit to is I will reach out to Tom Sheridan and I will reach out to other commission board managers and ask them to provide additional information on two terrific resources that we already have here in town. Number one is our Hudson City website. We can promote and push more content out to our residents so that they can build their own individual contingency plans. And we can outline what the city plans can look like. I'll also reach out to the police chief, Chief Tabak, and our fire chief and see what their initial response can be for an event, natural disaster, or flood, or something else that happens. And I will socialize that information through my campaign website, and I can also share that via city email. One last thing I would ask is, in situations where there are questions and you're not sure, we do have a terrific resource called Engage Hudson. It's an app that you can use to submit questions and submit concerns so that you'll get appropriate response from city resources. Thank you.
And Marty, this will be the last question. Thank you for coming this morning. I am a teacher at Hudson High School, have been for 23 years. One of the projects I've been running as a contemporary issues course for years has been a policy project, and one of it deals with Hudson City issues for definitely 2 decades. The teenagers always come up with an issue being that there's nothing for them to do in Hudson. They regularly talk about basically the town shuts
town for them. They have no place to go after 9 o'clock at night. They hang out in the Acme parking lot. They get chased out of the Hudson High School parking lot because there's nothing for them to do. The amount that said they can't find a place to even play basketball, like especially during the winter months. They have no place to blow off steam, no place to hang out. They'll drive up to the Twinsburg Dairy Queen. They'll go to the Twinsburg Rec Center. They'll go into Kent because there's nothing here for them. Is there any way that you can address this issue for young people to have something to do in Hudson?
That's a terrific question. As a father, I try to keep my son busy by pulling weeds, cutting the grass, picking up dog poop. No, seriously, I'm joking around. That is a real and valid concern. And I'll be honest with you, I've never really thought about it from a council perspective. We have a very vibrant school system. As everybody knows, it's always awarded one of the top performers in the state, right? Kids are high academic achievers, they're athletes, they're scholars. Finding them additional resources and things to do here in town. We've touched on that a little bit with, I believe it was the Economic Growth Board that did some interviews and brought some of the employers or the part-time employers here in town opportunities to meet with these students and give them jobs or award them with employment. But outside of that, I think that that's a great topic for me to table with council and some of the other committees here in town and see if there is something that we can maybe crowbar into what the comprehensive planning committee is putting together. If we can gather additional information from parents about their student or their children's activities, their wants, their needs, maybe that's a great first step for us to start to put definition to what an additional resource, whether it's a facility that is new or needs to be built, or if it's expanding access to the educational resources that we currently have, like high school gymnasiums or middle school swimming pools or things to that effect. Maybe those are real conversations that we can have and get creative. So thank you.
Yeah, that is a great question. Thanks. So I think my daughter last year is her senior year, hung out at Insomnia Cookies and other places in Kent. And I think it's interesting with the comprehensive plan or the community survey is that you had to be 18 or over to complete it. And maybe, as Scott mentioned, maybe there's additional ways, including, surveying the high school students, finding out what are their needs, and then, and making and mental note that, the next community service survey, we should in some way try to include that teenage perspective, because I think all of our parents' preferences would be that they stay close to home and they're not driving all around at 11 or 12 o'clock at night. So yeah, I think any way we can get more input from high school students and consider what are the different options for Hudson that we could actually kind of develop here. Thanks. Nice job.
You too. Thank you.
I'm going to have you draw a ticket for us also. Thank you so much to our candidates. Thank you to all of our guests for being here. I hope you've gained some information that will help you making your decisions as we go forward. Thanks to the Service Learning Group, you get an opportunity to see democracy in action. It's always a good thing. At that, I will ask Dr. Bird. Sure, Coach.
I passed around a sign-up sheet and we have about 40 people signed up for lessons on our cell phones. And tell me what's a prediction against rival Wadsworth? Coming up? All right.
Yeah, this probably is not the group to expose your ability to do technology with.
And by the way, the cost to attend the high school football game or any of our ticketed, I'm sorry, Hudson High School sporting events, including volleyball, soccer, et cetera. If you're 62 and older, is zero.
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 See, there are benefits to this aging. Okay, so our raffle today is $11. Okay, if you would draw a ticket for us, please. And the big winner and the opportunity to go for the jackpot of $140 is 924156. 156. Oh, Mr. Filburn. Oh, that's right. Pardon me. No, I got it, that thing. You can give him his money. Oh, okay. Not today. Yep. All right, but thank you. So once again, thank you all for attending. We greatly appreciate it. Get out there and have a good day.